Peace, love, and progress on Facebook, fam. Right to the point, I'm coming here live from Howard University School of Divinity. Ain't too many folks here, and it's like, January 3rd. But I wanted to switch up on something. I usually do word from the Reverend. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting things on, pardon me, I'm going to start putting things on YouTube a lot more often. In any case, as opposed to Facebook. So I'll just tell you in word from the Reverend or whatever, or change it to a whole new title. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something different in word from the Reverend like I was doing all of last year. And it's going to be called Conversations with Omowale. Now, first and foremost, the reason why I'm going to call it Conversations with Omowale is because it comes from, I got the inspiration from a book that I once read while I was incarcerated. And since I had been out, I hadn't found a copy in a while. But the name of it is called Conversations with Omowale, An Introduction to Doggone Religious Ideas by Marcel Gould. Now, the reason why this is so important is because this guy, Omowale, comes from this clan, this group, this African tribe in West Africa called the Dogon. And the Dogon are astrologers. They have their own religion, their own system of government, the whole bit. They're almost like the way the Native Americans are over here, where they, the government has given them like an Indian reservation or an African reservation, where even aside from the people that live in the country they live in, they are basically and essentially, like in regions of Mali and whatnot, they are basically and essentially given this land to continue on with their, some people want to call it archaic culture, old culture, but at the end of the day, this guy Omowale, this elder, came to the point in his life where it's seen so, it's almost like the African-American church today, where we see so many young people, they get turned on by so many other different things, so that the tradition we normally had, say like in the Pentecostal Holiness Church or whatever, it's changed so much, the music has changed, the people have changed, that they just run away from it and they don't stick with the old traditions. So to preserve the old traditions, to preserve the old astrology and religious and cultural systems, Omowale had this gentleman come from this particular college, and he sat down and kicked it with him about a lot of the secrets and esoteric teachings and the dress code for them in this particular Dogon culture, to preserve it, because the youngins weren't doing it, or they just weren't getting enough of it, or they were being turned on, like the Bible says, by newfangled doctrine or by a different view of something. So he wanted the old stuff to get preserved. A lot of ways where the folks did with the Egyptian mystery systems or the Cometian sciences in the form of hieroglyphics and in the so-called Pa and Ra, the Egyptian Book of the Dead. They preserved it in that context. The Ethiopian culture of the Amhar. They preserve it in Kebra Nagas, that's the Book of Kings. They talk about tracing their lineage all the way back to Solomon. Each person has their own legacy. Even in the Bible, you see where this guy was the son of this guy and this guy, and they talk about their religious tradition. It got preserved in some kind of way. Well, because in this Dogon culture, they didn't have that. Like, as far as the written word is concerned, everything is done through memory retention. They do oral history in that context. So as to have it preserved, Omowale asked this guy to come, or this guy came and did an interview with them and did some field research with them and came up with this book, Conversations with Omowale, An Introduction to Dogon Religious Ideas by Marcel Gould. Now, the reason why this is so deep is because I got the inspiration. I said, man, a lot of people know me for doing a little bit of preaching, a little bit of kicking and whatnot. What in the world would make me think that I got anything that the world would possibly want to hear of any significance that anybody hasn't already said? Well, I've got an awesome perspective that I come from. I got a PhD in incarceration. And while incarcerated, I studied every book you could possibly think of on black history, on black culture. I'm self-taught. I read everything from the Egyptian Book of the Dead to the works of Plato, Aristotle, Marcus Aurelius, Engels, Marx, Marcus Aurelius, anyway, Dr. Yosef Ben Joachim, and the works of Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, a lot of stuff, well written, well read over the past 58 years that I've been on this planet. But this book here hit home in the context of, I feel like, Omowale. Over the years, like everybody knows my name, I was born Samuel Monroe Holloway, but I chose like Muhammad Ali and like luau send to change my name from a so-called slave name or Eurocentric name into more an African name, which was Lumumba A.A. Omowale. I'll get into what the A.A. means later on. But Omowale is, I got that from reading the autobiography of Malcolm X. And in there, Malcolm X, after coming back from Mecca, went and stopped off in Nigeria. And these Yoruba folks hooked him up with a name, an African name, which meant Omowale, which means the son or the child who has returned home. And so I took on that name, Omowale Lumumba. Omowale Lumumba meaning eldest son. It also means talented or gifted. I got it from Patrice Lumumba. But so getting this name Omowale, Conversations with Omowale, is that what I'm going to do, anything that's going on here at Howard University in the area of an introduction to our religious views, whether it's Muslim, Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, or whatever, if it gets you closer to God, whatever's clever. Y'all know what I advocate, you know what I'm saying? Sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, and all that other good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Sanctified, not cranktified, and all that. But at the end of the day, I also do the comparative religion thing. I also am very much into opening my mind up to different approaches to God, like Dr. Howard Thurman. So what I'm going to be doing right here from Howard, whether it's political issues, cultural issues, like that sermon I did up here that one time on Donald Trump, and I said it was never about the presidency, it was all about the residency, and premising off of Joseph after he had died, and the Hebrew Israelites sitting up there in Egypt, and the whole country, the whole economy. There came a time when a Pharaoh came into office who did not know Joseph. Now there's God, nothing. So sometimes I'll cover political issues. I'll do interviews. I've done interviews with Peter Bailey, who has edited too many magazines and publications I can't even mention, and he's still teaching across the street over here at UDC. Right now, I'm at Howard University School of Divinity, the West Campus. And this is also where the law school is at. But getting back to the subject matter, Omowale, the child who has returned home. When I have conversations with Omowale, it's going to be like me sitting down interviewing people. I might go into the Black History Museum, or I might go to the Catholic diocese and just chill and show some folks some stuff up in there. Whatever is clever. No matter where I'm at, I'm just going to post this. And people say, well, why in the world would you do it? Well, here's the reason why. This is therapy for me. Very much so. And to get this word out, that's why I said this year for me, it ain't about the NFL in the general context of sports. I'm done sport. NFL means non-fiction literature. And that means everything that I deal with it, from literature to you name it, to life. I'm going to try to make sure that it's non-fiction. I'm going to make sure I keep it real. You dig what I'm saying? And anything other than that is NFL, not for Lumumba. So now, this thing with Conversations with Omowale, just like my dude Ogotamele did it. And I want y'all, if you get an opportunity to look up the book, if you ain't interested, don't look at my page. But in any case, Conversations with Omowale, because it's awesome at how this cat talks about how the Dogon, without telescopes or anything else, will be able to chart the heavens and talk about astrological occurrences. And man, it's just so deep. In any case, if you get an opportunity, check out that one book. And if not, just go online and check out who the Dogon, D-O-G-O-N are. If you want to get this book on Conversations with Ogotamele, it's O-G-O-T-E-M-M-E-L-I, Ogotamele. And I'm going to be having now, lastly, Omowale Grill Society, a Black History Month. Any of the churches out there, any of you folks from North Carolina, anywhere that's in the DMV, that is DC, Maryland, or Virginia area, and you need a Black historian. You need someone that can cover Black history in a very short amount of time, with, let's just say, hypothetically, we won't say not necessarily your church, let's say somebody else's church, where their attention span might not be that long. If you want it for children, if you want it for the elders, I do it for all ages and all categories. And it's called the Omowale Griot Society. I am a griot, more than just a Black historian. I deal with that. But when a griot in the traditional West African settings was an individual who at a very young age was taken up by the elders and given information because he had good memory retention. And everything from every horse and cow or whatever animal, to every hunt, to every natural disaster, to clans and tribes and people who ran them, the religious beliefs. They left him with the sisters so they get a better understanding of women's views, all this stuff, so that by the time he was a certain age, he was like the village historian. He was a conglomeration of a medicine man, a preacher, a pastor in the sense of a spiritual guide. All these things are real. People that know me from Richmond know I had a TV show in Richmond. on the Comcast channel for 14 years. With as much as a 5,000 listening on it. It's called Lumumba the Griot, Visions from the Third Eye. It came on in Richmond 2 times out of the day, 3 to 4 days out of the week, and it did it for almost 14 years straight. So I'm just telling you that I'll have some real good stuff here. Again, like I said, if you're interested, all you got to do is not look. But in the meantime and in between time, I'm telling you, if you need a black historian who can make it plain for you, I will take you from the origins of creation. I'll come with cosmogonies, man. And y'all give me 4 or 5 of them from different religions, but from a Christian perspective, I will show you how you can still throw the Afrocentric approach to it up in that piece. Everything that Dr. Joseph A.A. Ben-Jockin had to say in African origins of the major Western religions. I'm going to be by what's that guy's name again? The guy that wrote how Africa shaped the Christian mind. I mean, I'm going to have stuff by Dr. Joseph Ben-Jockin and by Carter G. Woodson, by all the major historians from Sheikh Anta Diop to one of my also favorites, man, is Carter G. Woodson, because he has a kind of background of my family. At the end of the day, the point is I'm going to have y'all some real good, well-researched stuff, whether it comes from a biblical, Quranic, or a historical perspective. I'm going to try to keep it solid. I'm going to try to make it interesting. But like I said, in the meantime and in between time, any of y'all, the churches that you attend, lodges, whatever. Right now, I'm a struggling old student sitting up in Howard University trying to get a PhD. And I ain't going to be satisfied until I have doctor in front of my name. So again, in the meantime and in between time, if you need a black historian to teach history for a month period, for a week period, whatever's clever, I can do it in your church, in your mosque, wherever you want, whatever context, man. I've already got the lessons already written up, from questionnaires to you name it. In addition to that, I go from as far as early humankind, when carbon radiation tests proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that the first people on this planet were of African descent, born on the not of African descent, but Africans born in right there in the Great Rift Valley in Old Divide Gorge region on the northern border of Kenya and Tanzania. I take you all the way through there from the early stone culture straight to the making of tools, through the eras of the planet, from the Pleistocene era all the way up to present. How Caucasian people and different, what we call racial differentiation, came from. The epiclamptic folds that Chinese had that gives them the impression that they got slanted eyes, on down to who were the first Ethiopians, on down to where Arabs come from, races and groups and concepts. I bring you all the way to the empires of Africa, from Egypt to doggone Zimbabwe, from West Africa with Mansa Musa all the way to like the Ivan Van Sertima covers those they came before Columbus, and where our ancestors that came over here to the Western Hemisphere long before the Vikings and all this. I got some real good black history stuff. I go all the way through and up to the point of the major African leaders, from Haile Selassie to Patrice Lumumba, from Jomo Kenyatta. Anyway, by the time I get done with you, we'll probably end up around Barack Obama. And trust and believe I can do it in a month, or I can do it in a week, just with my handouts alone. So if you want a good black historian with some credentials and has done it over the years, get at me. My phone number is 301-532-9223. My name is Reverend Samuel Monroe Holloway, affectionately known as Brother Lumumba. If you need me, get at me. 301-532-9223. Love y'all. Take care. God bless in this New Year's. And remember Lumumba the Griot. Remember Conversations with Omowale. So if I change it up from Word to the Reverend, the Conversations with Omowale, all is the same soup, just a different bowl, and a lot more socio-political and social justice oriented. Take care. God bless. Love you, Ivanhoe. I hope you're all proud, because I'm proud of y'all. Love your New York crew, and definitely my home, Richmond, VA. Love y'all. And all of the students from the Howard University School of Divinity in Howard, period, right here in D.C. Nothing but love, baby. Have a good year. Peace.